Okay, this is a first rendition by Bachmann of the 37, and it was the first Loco I pulled apart to repair. Reason being, it's got no lights, and I thought it'd be easy. It's 8-wheel drive. The second and third axle are the drive axles. The first is a floating, same on the rear. So it's not the 12-wheel pickup and drive like the second, the Mark II version of the Bachmann 37s. It was fairly easy to change the motor inside, and I'm going to show you on the Class 43 what I actually did, because they both had the same problem. So I changed the motor, put the body back on, stupidly, put it on, and there was a loud humming, buzzing noise coming from it. So I took it all apart again. I should have known not to put it together. And to my horror, I found that the gearbox was seized on both ends. The gearbox has a thin spindle that goes through the worm drive. Tiny bearings on either end. Let me just, that's the 117 going past. She's really running well. But anyway, it had bearings and a spindle at both ends on top of each bogie, and they were completely seized. So I had to pull those apart and oil them up, lubricate them up, put it back together again, and off she went. Then I had problems with the pickups. I hadn't put it all together again. She was juddering. So I cleaned the pickups as carefully as I could, but it still wasn't running particularly well. But then I found the backs of the wheels were heavily corroded. There were a lot of oxidization. So I cleaned all the wheels, and I was fairly brutal about it. I didn't get a wire brush. I actually got a stone, one of these, on my Dremel, and I cleaned off the back, and it was fairly thick. The oxidization was very thick, so I cleaned it off with that. And that so far has, although scratched the inside of the wheels, has worked very well for me. And she runs well. She runs extremely well. I'm just going to stop the 117 going past. It's making a bit of a noise. Yeah, so there she goes. That's a bit quieter. Runs well, and I'm happy with the result. It was the first Loco I did. Baptisms of fire, given the I'd never done anything like this before, and the gearboxes were stuffed. But look at that, she runs. I love this Loco. I need to put all the front end detail for and off most of my Locos on their travel, so I'm going to have a day where I put back all the vacuum pipes, etc. But she runs exceptionally well. Love it. Another Loco that ran well is the Vitrains 37. Different quality standard. I know they came in for an awful lot of criticism when they arrived, and I must admit, when my first one arrived, it was in a sorry state. This is the Vitrain version, the Mary Queen of Scots, which I think Bachmann have just released. Now these guys are supported by I can't remember who in the UK, and I rang up for some motors. In fact, I emailed for the motors. They're 17 quid each. So I wanted 5 of them, and they wanted to charge £84 postage to get them here. Now when you think that a Loco is around about £8.50 Royal Mail recorded, anywhere between 8 and 12 quid Royal Mail recorded. My Bachmann motors, they insisted on DHL. So I ordered about 12 different motors, £50 DHL, got here in 2 days, but then got into customs. 9 days later I got them out. Hornby, fortunately, or Peter Spares, fortunately agreed to send them Royal Mail recorded. Took 10 days to get here, no hassles with import people, and I've done that 2 or 3 times with Peter Spares. So I didn't get a new motor for this, but I did find that the Hellion motor is exactly the same, albeit probably more powerful. and it fits perfectly. I have to say though that when you open one of these up, they're pretty ropey inside. The PCB looks like it's something out of a, you know, $2.99 or pound shop remote control car. The motor sits on a bracket and is fairly loose inside. The quality is just not there. Having said that, they run really well, beautifully smooth. I have no complaints. Yes, okay, the windows fall out, the hooters, the horns come off, bits fall off them. Once you've glued them back together again, they're okay. Light bleed, whatever else the complaints were when they first arrived. But I bought 5 of them because they were 39 quid each, because I think they had such a bad press when they arrived. The shops just wanted to get rid of them. There she goes over the points beautifully, dirty points too. And top speed isn't great, very low geared this one, but I like it. They're great runners. I've only got one working, the other 4 are waiting for motors, and I'll probably wait to go to the UK for a trip and pick them up when I'm in the UK. Now I'm just fiddling around here to bring the HST around. Let's hope she works. Now this is a problem child one and she's not working, so the hand of God is going to have to interfere. Okay, this is my problem child and one of my favourite Locos. I bought this from the guys in Sheffield back in 2009-8. Always been a problem. Whoops, excuse me, sorry. Always been a problem. Very slow runner. And, you know, a little steam locomotive like this could beat it. So when I put the new motor in, I had high hopes, and she does go very fast now. No problems there. But I cannot get it to run smoothly at low speed. At medium to high speed, fantastic, no problems, doesn't stall, doesn't blink an eyelid at points, but as you just saw at low speed there, she's juddery. I put a lens silver in, but it hasn't really helped. And this had the same problem as the 37 I showed you earlier. I'm going to take the body off of this. Hopefully I can get the body off and show you my problems. I'll just put that down a tick. Yeah. Okay, and the reason the lights aren't working because the body's not on. So this gives you some example of the corrosion and how pervasive it was into the Locos. All of them had the same problem. You can see corrosion there on the light fittings and inside. So same problem as the 37. The motor was changed, sits in the cradle there, very well built. Gearboxes were seized at both ends in here. The spindle goes through the worm drive, bearing at either end, completely seized up. Change that. I've pulled the bogies apart several times, they're very easy to do. Clean the pickups, which are very fine, clean the backs of the wheels, but still got this running problem with it. I've soldered the wiring of the motor directly to the PCB rather than have the plug type arrangement to see whether it was an intermittent fault there. That's not right. So yeah, answers on the back of the postcard please. The only thing I can think of now is changing the pickups, getting new pickups, changing them to put in. When it's warmed up it runs okay, but still slow speed is not brilliant. So that's my problem with the HST. And that gives you a bit of a rundown of what I've been doing. Class 50 here, resolution. I've put a new motor into there. Quite fiddly that one because the 2 drive shafts are in 2 pieces. So you've actually got 4 pieces to put together to get the 2 drive shafts to meet the gearboxes. And I've only got red lights going at the moment because the PCB is faulty and I've got to get a new one. Behind her is a Bachmann second generation 37, the first generation being over there. Much better shape, I think. They captured the shape and the tumble home on the side of this much better. I've got this one, aluminium 100, which is in the large logo, which I haven't fixed yet. Runs really well. Again, I had to be pretty brutal with the backs of the wheels to clean off all the oxidization. Lights are working, forward and aft. Makes a funny sort of noise at low speed, but it always did when I was new in the box 10 years ago. It always made a funny sound. I haven't got rid of that with the new motor, so it's obviously the gearboxes that are making that noise. But runs well, not as good as it was when it was new, but has great slow speed performance, no issues. And behind her, Network Southeast, Hellion 47, fitted, runs beautifully. Got that really good. But looks a bit fat. Hellions were fat, they were oversized, but this one looks even fatter than normal. Okay, so they've got I think Gauge Master chips in. I've had to remove all the Bachmann chips, they all failed over the last couple of months, and I've had to put in Bachmann chips. Right, over here, there's a couple of steam locomotives. She's a beautiful runner. Don't really like it, but you've got to respect it for fantastic running. There's an 4MT there from Bachmann. Brand new out of the box. I've had it for about 8 years, but I pulled it out of the box. Again, it's a 6-wheel pickup. I mean, it picks up all right, but I can't believe we're going back to 6-wheel pickups. Whereas this thing here is a 12-wheel, and her slow speed running is brilliant. Over here is an old engine shed, really a very, very old Hornby diesel maintenance shed. That's really for keeping the sun off. And here we have my Helgen Class 47 going backwards. Again, nice new motor inside, clean the pickups, new wheels. She runs all right. Over the points there. Yeah. Ariadne. Again, must be about 12 years old, 10 years old, okay. Running a bit of a maintenance train. So that's my locos and the current state of play, or some of them anyway.